All right, all right, all right. All right. So tonight, I'm gonna be honest. Um, I didn't really have like a established plan. Because like real estate is awesome. I love real estate. I do. I like negotiating with people. Um, it's kind of fun, and I really enjoy just the pure like thrill of doing deals. Like that's just me though. Like I really just like I enjoy doing it. Like that's what. But the thing is that so many people get into this business and they create a full-time jobs for themselves because they don't understand that this isn't just like a um a get rich quick thing. I think and because like what you're taught in school, we'll start there, and then I'll go into my rant and I'll explain what today's stream is really about. In school, you go to college, you get a job, you do that, right? But what happens is you're bound into an identity, right? And when you change into that, not a lot of people can adjust to that change. So what happens is that there is a deficit between on where you want to go, where you're at currently, and you have to move yourself to that next spot. Okay. And I am not the best at this, I'll be honest. Transitions are hard, and that's part of it, so I can't really say anything. That is all part of it. Um, and that is part of what they call like leveling up, right? And in doing so, right, there's new challenges that you face. It's like beating a boss in a video game, right? You beat the boss, you're like, oh, awesome, all right, next level, let's go. And until you beat the boss, you're kind of like, this is hard, this sucks, I'm putting down the controller, I'm not doing it again. But in your life, you can't do that. So what do you do from the point where you're like, I want to put down the controller and just be done and just take a break? You can't do that because then you lose all your momentum. Okay. In that instance, what we call life, that is when we do the daily practice that Gordon, I don't know if you're on here yet, that we call the 8% method. There's going to be a link in the description somewhere. You're literally taking like 2 hours of your day to yourself to keep working on yourself. And sometimes when you choose not to do it is the best time to do it because you really need to. And when you neglect to do those things, what you're doing is it's essentially like in The Wolf of Wall Street. When McConaughey's like, you jerk off. He's like, what, huh? Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Not understanding why they do that to get their heads clear, which is fair. More power to those guys on Wall Street, whatever. But meditation has like it's crazy because what you're doing is like you have a box in your head, right? Here, let me add some background music, so this isn't just me blabbing. Um, and when you change where that light is shining, you can change what area that you are working on. And it's interesting, like because in that room, I also see emotions, and it's like, huh, why does that emotion spark up when like you hear something, you have something going on? Um, but it's interesting, like the inner work that is completed on oneself during the journey of like doing business, um, is interesting. And what happens is once you get to that point where you're like, let's rock and roll, um, and you don't do it, you start to go cynical. Like you get to lose your freaking mind, and it's kind of crazy. And sometimes I lose my mind, and it is crazy. And then it's interesting. That's it. Like the more work that we do on ourselves to become better, then once as we level up as beings, everything else follows, right? So like you are always the capacity for your life and for what you are doing. And when you choose not to go do great things, it's because you chose not to go do great things. Everything in this life is a choice. You can choose to be at home and be sad, or you can go out and win. I'll tell you though, winners win. That's what they do. And when you choose to win, that's where the magic happens. I don't know where I'm going with this, but this hat, Frequency of the Universe, pretty sick, right? I don't have it an affiliate link, unfortunately. But I've got a giant stack of books. It's pretty cool. I haven't read like half of them. But yeah, that's where I'm going. I need to do a giant brain dump on everything going on in my mind. At some point tonight, once I start diving into doing more work. But so many things, and there will always be so many things. It's how can we work on ourselves to have the capacity to handle so many things, and that is where we build ourselves to handle stuff. And part of that building is that there's like a lot of dark in that time period when you're doing that. There's a lot of stuff that no one talks about too, like in this space. There's gonna be days where your teeth just get kicked in. That sucks, and then you choose to get back up and go win. And it's insanity. Like I just had this conversation with I don't know if you're on here, Steven. On like what we do as business owners, as entrepreneurs, is we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again to try to get a different result, right? To get the chance of it just working one time. And it working meaning like in business, and you get that big thing and then boom, it just blows up, kind of like a hockey stick. Here, I can draw that. So what we're hoping for is this giant like hockey stick curve up, right? But in this time frame here, we don't know how long this time frame is going to take. We don't. It just keeps going and going and going until it just happens. Now we don't know if it'll happen, when it'll happen, or even like how it's going to happen. What we do know is that we can continue to show up every day, do what we do, and win. And it is it's a challenge. And that's why like small business is so hard. Because what you're doing is you're literally choosing to wake up every day and do this. You have no idea how long it's going to take to get to this point where it just works. So you keep going. Like this is like the definition of insanity. I don't know what else there would be. But essentially, to any of you out there that have started in like the journey, more power to you. Don't give up. It's fantastic. I'll tell you, by no means have I like reached to this peak at all. Where I'm at is probably like right here on this timeline. I have all this way to go, but I tell you, nothing fulfills me more than having conversations with people and then being like, I did it. And they did it because I was able to help them in some way, shape, or form. Like that could have just been like, you got it. Or it could have been like, yeah, this is how you underwrite this. And how you do this. And that feeling gives me like, there is like no better feeling than that to me. On the contrary to that, though, one of like the internal complications I've been having is like, yes, there's no better feeling, but then there's also the point of where like, all right, how can I pump out like volume of this to other people so it's not the unscalable, right? And more people can be helped, but like it's not just a bunch of like I'm taking information, right? Like we want information to be applied, and when you apply information, you retain it, right? When you apply like what you've learned, this is why I don't like schools, because you take a test and boom, you forget about it. But when you apply something, when you perform based on what you have learned, that is like the success metric right there. And that is that's my little rant about personal development and growth today. Today I went through some growing pains, many growing pains. There's many decisions that I need to be making. But if I would be doing you a disservice, and if I did not tell you about today's growing pains. And I really like this graph, even though it's not the best little graph. But I'm probably going to keep it, hang it up on my wall, because this is live stream number 2. And we're going to keep this rolling for a while. Who knows if we'll get any viewers on. Maybe this will be a 365-day challenge after all, instead of just the 90. But I told myself we're going to do 90 days. Today, we talked about, we're going to document this. This is going to be day 2. Oh, what's up, Felipe? Today, this is day 2 of 90. Today, I've been talking about growth in business. I just went on a long rant about how, as entrepreneurs, we have the time frame of like we don't know how long it's gonna take to get to the point where we just make it. We just have this time frame. We have no idea where we're at on this line, right? But we wake up and we choose to continue to do the same work every day, just for the chance of this going up here. The slight chance, the giant possibility it may never happen. But the only thing that'll get in our way is us. Real estate is so freaking simple. It really is. But willpower is hard to come by nowadays. And I think we're going to see less of it with the way the world is going. But this is where like entrepreneurs are made, in the willpower, right? The power to just be going like just one more try. That's all it takes is one more. Yeah, that's all it takes is just one more. Awesome. So we got 1 viewer tonight. That is that's awesome compared to yesterday. Well, technically we had two viewers tonight. On YouTube, how we looking? Anything in the comments? Not at all. I think I just enjoy being able to blab. Yeah, so day 2 going strong. We're gonna put a date on this. 9/24/25. All right, and this is how we have our growth in business. Now, the growth of self is can be much more linear, right? So I'm not saying business can't be linear either, right? But what I'm saying is that at some point, the compounding result will then take over, right? But the growth on oneself, there are so many ways. I'll tell you, my favorite little book right here is this thing, just telling me to think bigger. Let me read a couple pages. Nobody succeeds beyond his or her wildest expectations unless he or she begins with some wild expectations. That's pretty good. I like that one. Ooh, this one's pretty good. Just think how happy you would be if you lost everything you have right now and then got it back again. I mean, that's a pretty good nugget too. We live in an informational society, but information is not knowledge, and knowledge is not wisdom. That one's pretty good. I like that one. For those of you guys that are just tuning in, we're looking at day 2 of the 90-day stream, growth in business. And we are going through how we can think bigger and do bigger things. Ooh, this is a good one. This has been me like the past couple of days. People tend to choose problems they cannot solve rather than make the choices or decisions they need to make. Ooh, all right. This is the last one, then we'll wrap it up for today's stream. There is one thing more painful than learning from an experience. That is not learning from the experience. All right. That is day 2's live stream on how we constantly need to be growing in business. Or I could hang out for a little bit. You know, we'll see. We can get cooking with some deals, but it's never a deal problem, right? It's always like a human bottleneck, some way or shape or form. Deals are so simple, and I love it. Like, it's great. It's fun. Let's see what we got. I'm sure we got some stuff cooking up. Nothing in the comments, even better. Sweet. Let's see what we got. Oh, if you go to sub2mingle.com, I don't even know where that goes anymore. Oh, yep, okay. Nope, we don't want to show that link. Okay, let's switch up some music. And what we can do tonight is, let's see. Tonight, I want to leave you on a high note tonight. I want to leave something on a high note. As to what that means, it's a great question. But I will tell you, like, another part of being of working so hard is like once you get like some sort of like traction, some sort of success from working so hard, what happens is you become comfortable, you relax, and you let your foot off the gas. And I'm guilty of it. I am. Because what happens is you put in all that hard work, and then you're like, all right, we can breathe a little bit. But then you start breathing. And you're like, oh, this guy's passing me now. This is happening. This is happening. There's so many things that happen, right? And where am I going with this? That's a great question. When you start to breathe a little bit because of working so hard, you get a little hit of like dopamine almost in your brain. And you're like, all right, we can relax. But when you relax, you take your foot off the gas, you take your eye off the prize. And when you do that, you have like a feeling of like relaxation. And this is where like comfort really kills, honestly. Seeking discomfort on like a daily basis has been like a challenge. I think tomorrow's stream, we'll probably do a little more earlier in the day, because we'll see if we can get some more traction. We'll do that probably around lunchtime. We'll do lunch and deals. That sounds pretty solid. Tomorrow, and we'll have something more entertaining, I guess, than talking about our personal growth and how that affects our business, and how entrepreneurs are crazy because we have all this time. We don't know how long this will take. We don't know what this is. We don't know what this consists of, to hopefully someday make it to the top. And they continue to do the same work over and over and over. And that's why we work on ourselves. But yeah, we will leave it at that for today. We are going to end this on a high note of being I don't know. Let me grab a quote from the book, because okay, all right. Success is not determined by a flawless execution of a plan. It is determined by how people react to failure. Without further ado, good night, America, or maybe Japan. Who knows?